So first of all, congratulations, right? New
Appreciate
head
it.
coaching job. You've had great success everywhere you've been. You know, you've rebuilt programs, you've won everywhere. Um, how does that get implemented now in Bloomington with this job?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the transition's been pretty smooth, other than a chaotic December. Like, it was a quick process. I got hired in 3 days. First day on campus, we got 10 offensive starters in the transfer portal and half the defense. Now, they didn't tell me that. I wouldn't have either. But 3 weeks later, we got 22 new guys, a lot of all-conference guys, a bunch of 2, 3 year starters with good production numbers. I felt like we flipped the roster in December. And then January, you start your winter conditioning. My strength and conditioning guy's been with me 6 years, and total trust. You know, I got a defensive coordinator been with me 10, but not as a coordinator the whole time. Offense 9, same deal. So winter, smooth, new standard, made progress. Spring, new offense, defense, special teams, and also the standards and how we practice, right? Because it's different. By the fifth practice, it felt like a normal practice, and we continued to make progress. You bring 7 more guys in the transfer portal at the end of spring, 6 on defense, and have had a good summer. And now we got to take a big step here in August, as every team does. I mean, I like our team. I have confidence in our team. We're not there yet, but nobody's there yet, 'cause especially nowadays with all the new faces you got. I tell you what, spring opponent study, try to do that now.
Right.
You have no idea who's playing for who.
Yeah.
But August will be important.
Yeah. Uh, it's interesting because you talk about the portal and losing guys and gaining guys, but you got to find that balance too of, okay, let's get some guys in here that can play, that'll start off fresh with us, and then also get on to recruiting and try to develop that base and develop guys that way. You know, that's tough, right?
Well, yeah, the high school guys, those are the foundation of the house, right?
Yeah.
And then the portal guys are immediate need. And then maybe if you're short on juniors or sophomores at a certain position, you go portal on a guy that's got 2 to 3 years left. But usually you go portal, you're looking for a guy who can come in and start.
So I'm curious because, I mean, I think it's your personality. I mean, you're very outspoken, very confident in your initial introduction as a head coach. You know, your comments about Purdue and Ohio State and Michigan, and that you went. You know,
Right.
and so I know that you're a confident guy. Did you feel like you had to like set that tempo a little bit for the guys that are there? Because obviously guys that are there are pretty beat down, right?
Yeah, I had to ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at my past, you wouldn't see those kind of comments. I remember Jim Tressel making a comment about beating Michigan when he took the Ohio State job. Now, I just took it up a few decibels. But, you know, it's the entertainment business, too. They throw you out there in front of 17,000 people, man. You got to get them fired up. So
Yeah.
what's done is done. But I think I had to come in with a little confidence and swag. Because you're right. I mean, society's so short term. People forget 3 seasons ago, I used a touchdown from winning the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Touchdown away 3 years ago, 3 seasons. Now it's an impossible job. Give me a break. So, yeah, I like the progress we've made. Now we got to put it on the field.
Yeah. Curtis Rourke is one of the guys that came in, a new player, a guy who's, you know, like in today's college football, these quarterbacks go in the portal, they got a lot of reps in the bank, you know, a lot of game experience. What do you expect to see out of him?
Means a lot. You know, helps you sleep easier at night. Our last 4 quarterbacks have all been player of the year in the league. They were all different, you know, from the true duel to the true pocket and in between, and they all had their skeptics. Rourke's been a player of the year, okay? Probably more of a pocket guy, but can run for a first down, get you back to 2nd and 10, make the throws, knows how to play quarterback. So had a good spring, he's had a great summer. Looking for him to take another step here in August, and have a lot of confidence in him. Taven Jackson improved as well.
No. So one of the things, obviously, great success at your last stop at James Madison. Several guys, players from that program are with you now at Indiana. How many coaches also? So, I mean, a lot of that is with you now, right?
I think we have 28 individuals from James Madison in the organization, 13 players and 15 coaches, weight coaches, quality control guys. And it helps. And the players really help because they're coming from a championship culture,
Yeah.
and it helps facilitate the improvement you're looking to make in your culture, right? And then the coaches, they know how you do things. Because I've got some new coaches, but in terms of the guys that have the big responsibility, those guys have been with me a while.
Kind of interesting too, just that you're at Indiana University in Bloomington, but you, for a lot of years, were at Indiana University in Pennsylvania. How ironic or interesting is that?
Yeah, and that's where my dad won a lot of games after
Yeah.
he left West Virginia, and I spent a little bit of time there myself. So we'd have to bring Sigmund Freud back and see deep down whether that played a role or not.
Oh. What do you feel right now are the biggest challenges ahead of you as you try to make progress in August to get to where you want to be?
Making as much progress as possible every day in August camp, stringing together good days, and as much progress as possible in consistency and performance, dependability, accountability, and the other intangibles that go into winning football games and winning close football games. Because we've always won close football games. And when you look at the scores across the Big Ten, take Michigan out of the mix and maybe Oregon, you look at all the one-score games out there. IU last year lost 5. I'm counting Penn State, which was tied with about 2.5 to go. You got to win those games and those intangibles. That's my job, to develop those intangibles in the team.
What are some of those intangibles you think to win those kind of games?
Playing one play at a time, really buying into that. 6 seconds a player, play's got a life and a history of its own. You start that in practice, so at the end of the game, game's online, you're just doing your thing, because 11 guys doing their job, it's not addition, it's multiplication, and let the other team kind of, at the end of those games and win those close games. And, handling success, handling failure, not only like, did we win or lose, but like during a game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're down our first Sun Belt game after App State beat A&M. We go on the road, very first Sun Belt game. We're down 28-3, second quarter. Not a single guy flinched, no anxiety, no frustration. Come back, win the game. How are we going to respond? We're 10 points down. I know how they responded last year. How are we going to respond?
Oh.
And how do you handle success? And now you're staking out complacency. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah. What would you find, or what have you found maybe the most surprising since you've gotten to Bloomington? Maybe you weren't expecting, or the most pleasant surprise that you found?
We've built some new facilities that are pretty nice, and we're adding, right? We're reinvesting. I love the town, love the campus. The people are unbelievable. And the commitment from the president and athletic director, Pam Witt and Scott Dolson, they want it to go. So I think it's all lined up. My wife loves Bloomington, which, as you know, is important. And so it's been all pluses.
Oh, that's great. Last thing is just, and you're new to the league as well, but you're familiar with the Big Ten and you've been in this part of the country most of your life. But what about these 4 new teams and how the league has expanded? What are your thoughts about that?
I think it just makes the league that much better. I think it's great. It's exciting. It's a new trajectory. You look at the history of USC and some of those guys that played there back in the day, right? UCLA, Oregon's been really strong.
Yeah.
Washington, Michigan played for national championship. So, yeah, I know that you're going to have to get on a plane for an extra hour, but so what? And, it's created a super conference with great potential.
Yeah. I would also think, it seems like even when, and all the way back to when Penn State joined the Big Ten, how all of a sudden now that opened up Pennsylvania as a recruiting place for some of these other teams in Big Ten. Now there's new recruiting bases for the teams that are in the Midwest, right?
You're exactly right, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, we saw Washington in here, recruiting and the others. So yeah, it's a national conference that can go anywhere to get a really good player.